Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So, what no one really seems to understand is that Tesla has changed the way we make cars. Not just making EVs, that is just the product, but what set Tesla apart from everyone else? Legacy, a startup, it doesn't matter. Tesla has innovated how to manufacture a car in ways that is hard to wrap your head around. In 1913, Henry Ford installed the first moving assembly line for the mass production of an entire automobile. His invention reduced the time it took to build a car from more than 12 hours to 1 hour and 33 minutes. This was revolutionary and set Ford apart from everyone else. And then Toyota came in and perfected the production line method. The lean manufacturing method came from the Toyota production system and have been widely adopted by the entire manufacturing industry. But now Tesla comes with the next chapter in the history of manufacturing. And what many people fail to understand is that Tesla has not come in and tried to improve the production line. They got rid of the production line and operate more in something that can be more thought of as production cells. Tesla has reinvented the production from the ground up, and this is why the others can't catch up. It is physically impossible. If they don't build new factories, they will not catch up with Tesla if they just retrofit their old existing production lines. But the even bigger problem is, even if they try to copy what Tesla does, well, that will take years to learn and to change the whole company. That is not an easy thing to do. So while they are spending years trying to copy what Tesla does today, as Volkswagen is trying to do, well, Tesla will have made at least 5,000 improvements to its production methods. As Elon said, pace of innovation is the only thing that matters, and Tesla has made sure innovation is a daily thing at Tesla, and that changes cost pretty much nothing and can be done every single day without having to stop production. This is game changing. Let me explain why, and let's dive right in. So, I had the honor of interviewing Joe Justice, and the reason I think what he has to say is so important is because he is one of the only person that has end-to-end designed, built, permitted, tested a road legal car. He has tried every single step himself. But more than that, he has worked for pretty much all the big automakers like BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Toyota, and much more. But he has also worked for Tesla and has helped every single automaker to become more agile. So he knows a thing or two about making a car, and he knows how the different manufacturers work, and can actually, as one of the few persons on this planet, make some true comparison between Tesla and the other OEMs. And as he said when I asked him about if anyone could catch up with Tesla's speed, because he has worked with these companies and tried to make them agile, but the short answer was Volkswagen just made a 9-year budget plan. So, no. Tesla doesn't even have a budget, which is also very unusual, but a budget can actually also slow down innovation, like I have experienced in the company as I have worked for. If you got a great idea that cost a bit of money, after the budget has been made, well, then you will have to wait until next year to execute on that idea, because that is not within the budget. And we can see if we can squeeze it into next year's budget. And then that idea got 1 year delayed just because of the company having a budget. That is probably one of the reasons Tesla doesn't have a budget. They have a money management system, but if you come up with an idea that will help the company make the car drive further or whatever, Tesla will implement it straight away. And if you think this kind of system will make Tesla spend a lot of money, also because everyone is empowered to make changes or buy robots or whatever is needed, well, then we only need to take a look at what Tesla has spent through the last 10 years and see what the legacy automakers are putting in their budget. Volkswagen has just raised their spending to 98 billion euros through 2026, the biggest debt Tesla has ever had, even though everyone was talking about Tesla burning through cash, and that was true, they did, and nearly killed them in 2018 together with the Model 3 production ramp. Well, Tesla has never had more than $12 billion in debt, and they have actually paid some of all that debt off and only have a little over $6 billion in debt right now. And Volkswagen wants to spend 98 billion euros through 2026, and that would only make Volkswagen produce something like 2 million EVs in 2026 if they are lucky, and still have almost $250 billion in debt. So what Tesla has done and doing, they are doing with a lot less cash. They don't add to their debt anymore, but pays it off. But all the other legacies are adding to their debt. So when it comes to the financials, the old boss might be big and have a lot of revenue, but they don't have very big net income, and they have a lot of debt and are valued much lower, and their financial asset is tied up with ICE cars that will soon be worthless. And worst of all, they still work with the old way of doing things, with a budget that they plan 5 to 10 years out in the future. That says it all. Tesla doesn't really plan much longer than 24 hours, because Tesla don't know where they will be in 5 years' time. So how can they plan for it with a budget? Hell, Tesla doesn't know where they will be in 1 year or 6 months or next month. They don't know what they will need to spend money on, so they don't plan for it. They just manage their spendings. But let me try to explain how Tesla production cells works, even though I don't fully understand it myself, because as Joe said, the best way of understanding it is to come to work for Tesla, and I unfortunately have never seen this with my own eyes. But I will try to explain it as best as I can. So yes, we all know Toyota is known for its efficient production lines, and they are some of the fastest to implement a new production development, but they take between 2.5 to 4 years to do it. Because if they get a new idea, they have to go through their long, slow process to get the idea accepted and tested and implemented and so on through all their levels of management and leaders. And Toyota is the fastest of the legacy automakers to do this. But Tesla makes about 27 production changes per week. So what it takes Toyota 2.5 years to do if the change is not too complex, well, Tesla does that on a daily basis. Let that sink in for a moment. This explains what Sandy Munro didn't understand. How can Tesla make 14 design changes to an octovalve alone in just 3 months? That is impossible. Yes, for everyone else, it would be impossible. It is impossible, because that would take years of implementing these things. But Tesla does this in days, not years. But how is it they can make this many changes all the time and not spend all their money on doing it? And how do they keep ramping up production when everything changes all the time? If this has been with a normal production line, they would have to stop the line all the time. All these changes would have killed the company. Well, this is why Tesla does not work with production lines, but production cells. So let's start with how they make the changes. Well, someone got a great idea to improve something with the car or the way it's built. Well, then this guy makes it known to everyone in the company that he will today try to make this change. If anyone should be interested in helping out, he will be at this place today trying to make that work. So what this guy does is make what Tesla calls a router, a branch out from the original production cell. So this changed nothing to the production, but they test out the new idea in the router, and if it works and make the car more efficient, faster to build, or whatever it is they're trying to do, well, then they route that back into the production cell. They still can't make this new change to every other production cell yet because they have to ramp up this new change first. So they do that in this production cell, and when they are at 100% ramp up, they integrate it to all the other production cells. That has all been running at full speed, while this one production cell was ramping up production of this new product. So production has not stopped for 1 second to implement this new change, and it has cost Tesla basically nothing to make this change. And that is the big difference. And why legacy automakers don't make many changes, because it costs them a lot of money and will take years to implement. And this is also why we always hear Tesla talking about ramping up all the time. It's not because it takes them years to just ramp up one new product. It's because they continuously are ramping up a new production cell all the time. And the reason why everyone can just make these changes and know if it makes the car better and so on is because that part is fully automated, done by Tesla's AI. Tesla used their vision-based AI in the factory to check the car. And no, it's not Tesla's full self-driving AI that Tesla has decided to use in the factory as well. It's actually the other way around. It is Tesla's so-called factory mode the car is in the factory, where it goes through every single non-destructive test a car goes through. And it does so without any humans involved. The factory mode is what was a spin-out to become Tesla's full self-driving software. So compared to legacy that test maybe 1 out of 10,000 cars or 100,000 cars to check everything is still okay, Tesla does this with every single car they make. Or maybe I should say Tesla's cars does this because they go through all of these tests by themselves. So every single car has a digital twin in the cloud. So Tesla always knows what parts are used in this particular car, what glue is used and so on, because hardly two cars are alike, because they make changes to the cars on a weekly basis. So this is why Tesla has gone from having some of the worst build quality cars in the industry to having some of the best build quality of mass-produced cars, according to Joe Justice. And tomorrow it will be even better. But Volkswagen is not really going to make big changes before 2026 with their next model change, when they start their Trinity platform. The ID.3 that rolled off the assembly line 2 years ago are still the same built car today. Where Tesla's Model 3 that rolls off the assembly line today is a completely different car than what rolled out 2 years ago. Only the exterior is looking the same, but everything underneath has basically changed, and also the way it's built. But Volkswagen is kind of starting to get it. First they held a crisis meeting on how do we get the production time of the ID.3 down from 30 hours to 10 hours as it takes Tesla to build their Model 3. But I kind of guess they have figured out they can't do that by retrofitting their old factory with old-fashioned production lines. They have to start from scratch. And Volkswagen has just confirmed a plan to add a new electric car factory near its global headquarters in Wolfsburg. That site will produce 250,000 vehicles as part of the Trinity project. So they do know they can't retrofit the old one, but have to make a new one that will not be ready before 2026. And that is also when they expect to be at Tesla's production speed of 2021. But where do you think Tesla will be in 5 years' time when they make about 27 changes to the production cells every single week? Let's just say 20 changes per week in 52 weeks a year in 5 years. That's over 5,000 changes they will have made to its production, making it faster and more efficient. And Volkswagen will be at the Tesla speed of 2021. So this is why it will be physically impossible for the old guys to catch up with Tesla. Tesla already has this whole agile system in place and now has 4 factories working this way. And the other guys are just starting to think about it now. Just like Toyota that Joe is helping. They know they just can't change the whole culture of Toyota from one day to the other. That is simply not going to work, especially not in a company that is so heavily guided by tradition, rules, policies, and culture like Toyota. So Toyota is making a whole new company, still under Toyota, but a separate company where the next CEO of Toyota will work and learn how to run an agile company. And then he will become CEO of Toyota in 7 years' time, and in 10 years' time, they will take all they have learned from their new company and implement it into Toyota. So not a bad idea. They need to change the whole company and how it is run, but 10 years? I don't think that will be fast enough. So even though many people think that just because Toyota and Volkswagen are very good at manufacturing and are big and they will stick around, they have been surviving so far, haven't they? Yes, so did Blockbuster or Kodak or Nokia and so on. Who is the biggest watchmaker manufacturer today? No, it's not one of the big old manufacturers. It is Apple. So no, just because you have been here for a long time does not mean you will survive, especially not when the new product is not produced in the way you have done it for the last 50 to 100 years. Volkswagen has made cars for over 84 years, but Tesla is producing their Model 3 that is more advanced and powerful, 3 times faster than what Volkswagen is able to produce their ID.3. So no, Volkswagen, all the other legacy automakers do not have a single advantage. They have to change everything about their company and the way they work. Their many factories are not an advantage. As Volkswagen is showing us, they need to build a whole new one to try to keep up with Tesla's production speed. And remember, Tesla will be with their single factory in Europe when all 4 phases are built out and ramped up, be able to produce more cars from that single factory than Audi does with their 19 factories in Europe. They are not even in the same league. They are hardly playing the same game. Tesla has reinvented the factory. The manufacturing, the production line is last century's technology. Production cells and ever-changing production and product is the next century's technology. Tesla's way of doing things is being just on the edge of chaos, because that is where you push yourself and become better. Just like when you're training, if you don't push yourself to failure, you will not become stronger. And Tesla pushes themselves every single day and becomes better every single day. And even the working days are different from what the others do. Tesla uses 12 hours shift, so they can have 24 hours seamlessly of production going. But the pace at Tesla is just so fast that is making it fun to be there as well. Like Joe Justice said, it is the most fun place he had ever worked, and everyone there is there for the mission to change the world, and that is also what makes it sustainable. Everyone working at Volkswagen is there to make cars. More of the same car they made yesterday. And that is also why Tesla attracts the best talent, because they don't just build yet another car. They want to help to change the world for the better. So Tesla's employees are some of the most talented people. And these talented people are working more than everyone else. How do you keep up with something like this? The answer is you don't. So as Elon has said for many years, we just didn't understand just how fast Tesla's pace is. The pace of innovation is the only thing that matters, and the others are making new innovation maybe every 5 years, like we see with Volkswagen. They will not make a huge change before 2026. Toyota will not be an agile company before 2030, and the Ford Mach-E will be the same car next year as it has been this year. And Tesla's car will be better tomorrow. Tesla's production speed will be faster tomorrow. Tesla's gross margin will be better tomorrow, even though they are already industry leading today with their almost 30% automotive gross margin. And Jim Farley, Ford CEO, has just confirmed that Ford still don't make any money on the EVs yet, but Tesla make changes to their car every single day. That is why they can have a better gross margin every single quarter. Because Tesla's pace of innovation is so fast, it has come a daily thing at Tesla. So sure, you can try to copy Tesla, but before you will come out with that copy in 5 years' time, Tesla's car will be 100 times better. This is the pace of innovation, and why they will never catch up with Tesla, because the legacy automakers look like they are moving in slow motion when compared to Tesla, that looks like they are being fast forwarded 10x. Like Elon said at Battery Day, we will be head and shoulders above everyone else in manufacturing. That is our goal. And that is exactly what has happened. The old guys were just focused on making an electric car. They didn't understand that Tesla was reinventing the way we manufacture things. And that is why they cannot catch up with Tesla. Tesla is so far ahead, and they are already moving faster than everyone else, and they are constantly accelerating. Tesla doesn't take a break or slow down. They continuously speed up, making them physically impossible to catch. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.